Yeah, what is up, Battle Union fans, and welcome to the Union News number 3. If you don't know what the Union News are, first up, we're here with your two analysts. Good job, Shady. Me, Shady, and
And myself, Shroomraver.
yes, indeed. Stealing a sentence, nice.
I see you. I see you.
And basically, we're just gonna go through all the fixtures, through all the games that happened, and the ones that will happen next week. So the week 3 ones now that already happened, and the week 4 ones for next week, as well as transfers and a bit of shit talking at the end that happened in the Skype chat or wherever. So yeah, let's get into the week 3 games that happened already.
Yes, absolutely. First up, we saw Anima and the Golden State Dragons taking on Freedo and the Welshions. Both were coming into this with 2-0 records, and Anima was able to take the 2-0 victory. Really nice team that she used. She was running Trick Room, which Freedo sort of hadn't prepared for as much. He prepared for stuff more that wasn't there, like the Mega Metacham. But, you know, Anima played a very good game. Reunicus was used excellently, and I have to say, her video has my quote of the week, which is a Stone Edge from Hippowdon onto the Crobat, which was going to bollock this Crobat something awful, which I had a bit of a chuckle at. So yeah, Anima goes into next week with a perfect 3-0 record.
Yeah, those were my two personal favorite teams so far. So, Anima getting it on the top there.
Yeah.
Next up, we have a match that I personally was very happy about to exist. The Blastman Rovers and Sigi versus the Liv Wurmple FC and Richie. Both teams went into this game with an 0-2 record, and Richie managed to get his first victory 1-0, very clutch with Kieran Black coming through. I think Dan overall played the better game, Sigi, Dan. But Richie just had the overall better draft with all these incredibly powerful Pokemon. And, you know, that's part of the thing. He managed to play that. He kept his Kieran Black in the back as a win condition, and that worked out brilliantly for him. First victory for him. Dan still looking for one. Hopefully he can get one very soon.
Yeah, but I mean, Dan is playing very well, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
He's using his Mons very effectively. It's just that on the day, whilst he may have even been the better player, he was just overpowered, really.
Yeah.
Nothing he could really do about it.
Pretty much.
Yep. So that was the second game. Moving on to the third one, we have the Twinleaf Tyrants. Bice. Is Bice the Twinleaf Tyrants?
Yes.
Yes, he is. Terribly sorry. I forgot myself there for a little bit. He was taking on the Somerset Sizzles and interim manager Jack, a.k.a. the Don Fanatic. And yeah, Jack managing to take the 3-0 victory there. A very interesting game. Some fantastic sets on both sides. We saw the Rogue Hidden Power Ice Doug trio, which was fantastic. Loved seeing that. It's always great seeing these hidden powers on things you just don't expect. But sometimes you have to prep for these, especially in the case of the Sizzles having the powerful Landorus on their team. Landorus Incarnate, I should say. Both made some good plays. Jack made one really ballsy play, a huge one, leaving in Lopunny on the Clefable, which was sort of Bice's win condition at that stage. But yeah, you know, both played a very good game. Jack, I think, played a very solid game with a strong team build. And yeah, he's really looking good at the moment. Coming in to take over a team and taking 2 wins out of 2 is really very impressive.
Yeah, Bice had good ideas of trapping the things that could kill his Clefable, or just in general things that were threats to his team. Didn't quite work out in the end because Clefable died after that ballsy prediction on Jack's part. You know, really fun game to watch. And yeah. Moving on, we have these Whiskers and Enzo against the Bristol City Fledglings and Ashnake. Enzo got his third victory, giving him a 3-0 record with a 3-0 over Eric or Ashnake, whatever. The Bristol City Fledglings. A very interesting game. Enzo got the momentum very early on and kept it up. While Eric at least had a really, really cool set I enjoyed very much. The Sword Stance, Citrus Berry, Acrobatics Mienshao, 40 Mega Venusaur. Maybe he should not have had an item in the first place, you know, debatable. But it was very cool to see. I liked it a lot. Cool set. But Enzo just played a really, really good game. He had very good EVs, which made me happy.
Yeah.
His Suicune was EV, short speed, everything on Eric's team after +2 from the Tailwind, even a Scuffed Superior. Real cool job there. Then he just threw the other remaining EVs somewhere. It's whatever. So Enzo's looking really good so far this season, and looking forward to what he can do in the next weeks.
Yeah, just continuing to build his teams very well indeed. Stuff like that, Suicune, was just a fantastic set. Tailor-made for the team he was going against. Really nice to see that. So 5th match, we saw the LA Galaxy, coached, of course, by Gabriel, taking on the Slovenian Arcanines, coached by Xenon. And Xenon able finally to get his first win of the season, taking the 2-0 victory. He was also a master of speed creeping here. We saw a fantastic moment. Dragalgi coming in max speed to outspeed Azumarill and bop it with a stab. Sludge Wave, I believe it was.
Sludge Bomb.
Was it Sludge Bomb? Ah, well, one of the two. Either way, he bopped Azumarill with it, and he finally got rocks up, which was nice. It was nice to see him get some rocks up, and he was running a sublime Keldeo set.
Yeah.
Very, very rare to see the Swords Dance Keldeo.
Mixed Swords Dance.
Mixed Swords Dance Keldeo, able to one-shot after a Swords Dance, Escavalier, and the Mega Altaria.
I thought it would have lived. I calculated it would have lived.
Would it have lived? There we are. Especially with the spread, I believe, Gabriel was running a sort of bulky mixed attacker.
Very cool spread.
It was a cool spread, but again, I just feel like he confused himself a little bit. He identified Arcanine and Dragalgi as issues. And then Escavalier was built for a Dragalgi, which he had already identified that it didn't wall, because it's 2-hit KO'd by his gambled hidden power fire, which he thought he was going to bring, and by that it just didn't wall it anymore. He was surprised by a few things on the team, fairly. You never expect that Keldeo set. Yeah. I would question a few of Gabe's plays and team building choices, but we'll go into that more in the power rankings. He was surprised by a very well set up team. A deserved first win for Xenon, finally getting off the mark.
Definitely. Just want to give props to Gabe for not running in nature on his Altaria, which I think is a really brave decision.
Yes, absolutely.
He had all the EVs he wanted. He had attack to 2-hit kill Electro, speed to outspeed something I don't remember, special attack to do this, special defense to this, and stuff and things. Of course, you don't want to lower your defense when there's a Mega Scissor on the opposing side of the field, because you can't live a Bull Punch. I know it from experience. So he didn't run in nature, and he still had everything he wanted.
Yeah.
On this Zarya, really brave decision. I actually kind of like that. It seems weird at first when I saw it. I was like, but yeah, he had a plan behind it, and I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting to see that, because you do think, well, really, you're not running a nature? Surely that's detrimental. Not necessarily. When you're running something that's attacking off both stats and wants to take hits as much as possible, you don't necessarily want to skimp on speed. It's perfectly acceptable to do it, and, he was able to take a fair few hits and dish out some decent damage before going down.
Exactly, because the minus speed nature Altaria would have not sped by Sizzle, for example, which is not a thing you want to happen. Moving on to the last game. 2-2 teams, the Kentucky Kecleons and the Highland Houndooms faced off against each other, and Jedi, coach of the Highland Houndooms, managed to get his first victory with a 2-0.
Yep.
Very solid game on his part, but I think he also benefited from Josh not playing a really good game and not preparing optimally. He had the amazing Kecleon set with the power-up Solar Beam.
Fantastic to see that.
It gets Grass Knot, which I found out. He could have run that, but I guess he just wanted the OCO and the style points. I don't blame him. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
He made some questionable decisions with Call Minding with Raikou on the Snorlax, Even a +1 and not a Southwest one would take it like it's nothing. It's a Snorlax. Then he stayed in and just questionable. The T-Wave on P2, why? There's not a whole lot on Jedi's team that you want to slow down with that. He made too many safe plays. In my opinion, constantly flare blitzing the Metagross when there is a Quagsire around. He's not going to stay in and overpredict. He's just not. Jedi played a solid game. Quagsire coming through for him, surprisingly. Because I'm not a fan of Quagsire, but he came through for him really good. Even though it was toxic,
Yeah, and
burn something status.
Jedi has some interesting Pokemon, but he chose to run some fairly standard spreads, not looking to go too crazy with his sets, aside from maybe that physical Mega Sceptile, which was really the only one that didn't work particularly well. And one thing I do want to say about him is Volt Switch Scarf Rotom.
Yes.
Finally bringing it. Really good to see that. We said last week that if he keeps playing, he's getting good at this. He's really exploring his draft, and the wins will come. And now finally, the first win has come for Jedi. I have to see how he sort of reacts to that. How he reacts to playing very well, I think, getting a good win, and seeing where he's going to go from here.
Yeah, I like the performance. Maybe he can get more wins because that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be good to see. Now maybe he can bring back the absent Mr. Mime.
Yeah, and more gimmicks because now he
yes.
has his win that he wanted.
Yeah, we might see that sort of the confidence come through, the confidence to really be Jedi with this draft and run his crazy sets that he loves running.
Yeah. And now we move. That's gonna be it for the week 3 games that already happened. Now we look into the future and the week 4, the week 4 matchups that are gonna happen soon.
Kick us off. Yes, we have first up a really interesting match. Anima and the Golden State Dragons versus Enzo and the Whiskers. First thing to say, these are the only teams left with a 3-0 record. Someone is going to lose their first game here. And in order to try and prevent that, Enzo has made a bench trade. He has brought in his Chansey, the disgusting Chansey, for Landorus Therian. Landorus Therian dropping to the bench. Chansey coming in to try and deal with the very potent special threats on Anima's team. That's going to be a fantastic game to watch.
Indeed. I think the main reason Chansey was brought in is because Greninja exists.
Yeah.
And it can't run low kick because XY Greninja.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think low kick would do too much anyway. But yeah, Chansey just takes on Greninja fairly well. Mm-hmm. I did that when Greninja was around. That was the only reason to run Chansey for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that decision. Should work out.
I think so.
Moving on, we have Richie and the Live Wurmple FC versus Eric and the Bristol City Fletchlings. Very interesting game. Both teams sitting at 1 and 2. Richie had a bad start to the season, finally got his first victory, while Eric kind of had the opposite, got a good win in week 1 and then just kind of fell down in the last 2 weeks, bringing his A game. Very interesting game to see how Eric is going to deal with the incredible threats that Richie's team has. Aldino can probably take on Kieran Black, but then there is a Mega Mawile, which just decimates it 10 times over. So, interesting game. I want to see some fancy stuff to take on the broken shit.
Yeah, there is also a trade in there.
Yep, that is also a thing. Is it one? It is in fact one trade.
Yes.
Eric picked up Aggron for Gligar. AGG-ron. If it's not Head Smash, it's wrong.
Well, I mean, that could be one of the ways he's thinking of trying to take on that errant Mega, what's it called?
Mawile?
Mawile, that's the one. The Mega Mawile. Yeah. Aggron, monstrously defensive. It could be one of the ways he's looking to take it on.
Yeah.
It can probably tank a hit.
Probably Troubleberry or something. Because
it might well be. It might well be.
Spoilers.
So yeah, that's the second game. Third game, we are going to see Freedomion and the Welshions taking on the Slovenian Arcanines and their coach Xenon. The Welshions sitting at 2 and 1. Xenon picked up his first win to put him at 1 and 2. So we've got Founder versus one of the early front runners. And trades on either side. The Welshions, Schady will be happy to see that Zoroark is back into the side. Crawdaunt has gone back to the bench where it began. Zoroark in for those tricksy shenanigans. In response, we see Xenon bringing in the power. He's brought in the Powerhouse Dragonite for the defensive wall Amoonguss. Very interesting trades there. Yeah. Very interesting indeed. Dragonite getting its first run out, looking to bring the pain against Freedo. Interesting to see he's brought Dragonite. Freedo, of course, does have that Sylveon, who will be looking to put a stop to that, and he's dropped one of his poison types for the dragon, which I find interesting.
That's definitely an interesting choice, but it's Xenon. I want to see some interesting Dragonite sets, and I think we will get to see something that's not standard at all.
Will we see the Wanzi Bennett inspired Steel win?
Maybe.
Yes, right,
Okay,
well.
moving on, we have the Somerset Scissors taking on the LA Galaxy and Gabriel, Somerset Scissors still coached by Jack Heaton Fnatic. Both teams sitting at 2-1, both teams having some really solid performances in their victories. Jack's on a win streak. I just gotta point that out. I think he's a 4-game win streak in the league format in general.
Yeah.
So, he's probably looking to continue that. This is a very important game for both because sitting at 2-2 is not as great. If you want to get into playoffs, 3-1 is a really, really solid record. And there was one bench trade as well.
Yes.
Wow, voice crack.
Interesting voice crack there.
Gabe decided to bring in Amber Pump for Doublade. Interesting choice because Doublade just gets demolished by Megalopony, for example. But so does Amber Pump. Amber Pump is just a really fast mon with a lot of interesting moves he can abuse. Looking forward to what he can do. Maybe he can copy the Shady Penguin, and
yes, setting up for other mons would be a very interesting choice to run.
Really looking forward to this game.
Yeah, this is going to be a huge one. As you said, 3-1 far better to be sitting at than 2-2. And at this point, a 3-1 could easily put you into third place, or maybe, depending on what happens in the top game, could put you into second. Yeah. So someone there is going to be looking in a very strong position.
And we have a more offensive team on Jack's side against a very, very bulky team on Gabriel's side. So that's interesting.
Yeah, going to be interesting to see how they deal with each other.
Yes.
So, 5th game, we're going to see CG and the Blastburn Rovers taking on Jedi and the Highland Houndooms. Power ranking bottom table stuff here. CG still desperate for that first win, and Jedi will be on a high from his first victory, which, as we said, he took last week, I should say. This is going to be a fantastic game. I think Dan will be going into this. CG will be going into this confident. I think he will really think he can win this. He's been buoyed. I think he should feel buoyed from 3 very strong performances. They may have been losses, but he played them well. And this is a match between 2 players who are really exploring the full extent of their draft, seeing what kind of strange, unexpected things they can run, seeing which ones are working well. And I'm really looking forward to seeing who's going to come up on top of this one.
There better be a double slap, Mr. Mime.
I hope so. This is going to be the match where we possibly see double slap Mr. Mime taking out Mama Swine. There was another one. I forget what the other one of those is going to be.
Something weird. I don't remember.
There was some strange things. This is kind of like an I Quit match, as it were. There's potential forfeits all over the place. We're going to have to see what happens. Only time will tell.
Yeah. 2 bottom table teams, kind of, which are on a high.
Mega Pincer, that was it.
Something special Mega Pincer.
Hyper Beam Mega Pincer.
That's what it was. 2 bottom table teams which are on kind of a high because Dan was really happy with his performance against Richie, as he said, and Jedi got his first win after a solid performance on his part as well. Very interesting to see who can come out on top and maybe claim to continue being in a good form. And the last game is Bice and the Twinleaf Tyrants versus the Kentucky Cackleons and Josh, aka Squirtacular. A really interesting game because Bice, in my opinion at least, has been one of the most consistent players in this league so far. 3 really solid performances. At least, the last game at the end was kind of but on that, really solid performance on his part. While Josh has started off the season fairly well, in my opinion. Week 1 and 2 was pretty good on his part. And week 3 was just kind of he kind of lost his confidence now as well to some extent. At least it seems like that. I can't tell 100%. I'm not, But really interesting game. But there has been a bench switch as well. Before I forget, Josh decided to bring in Shaman for Lucha. Really interesting idea because Shaman is a really, really powerful Pokemon, as well as a really bulky Pokemon. One of those base 100s all around. I want to see some shenanigans. Maybe the legendary Sword Stand set. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, I think that benching Horlucha actually probably the right decision, given that Bice does have the Aegislash and Clefable sitting there, neither of whom care at all for anything Horlucha can do to them, really.
Aegislash being like the main reason why Horlucha went down back in the day.
Yeah, and Fizdef, unaware Clefable, doesn't particularly mind about Swords Dancing Horlucha at all. Shaman can put in some work. He's got a couple of water types there, the Dog Trio too. Yeah, I think that's a very good bench switch.
Indeed, I like that. Sharon's cool.
Absolutely. And finally, with the games out of the way, it's time to take a look at what the members of the TBU are saying about each other. And one person has been maybe a little bit quiet, and that is indeed our founder, Freedo. He's sort of waded in here. And not only is he talking about his fellow coaches, he has started on your very own analysts, ladies and gentlemen. Telling Schady right here that he needs to get good, which, as we know, is true. Schady does. It's a fact.
Yeah, I beat you. Mm-hmm.
Wow, there it is. Schady telling Freedo to come back when you run good hidden powers and Mach Punch on Ape. A fair assessment. What do you think of that, Schady?
I think Schady won. Schady's the best.
Really, is that so? Is that so? A fascinating summary there from Schady. We'll have to see whether that sort of interesting smack talk continues. Schady, of course, known for his smack talk in various leagues and on Twitter and on all social media that's ever existed.
Even on MySpace, I'm just chilling.
True. Back in the day.
I mean, there will be a tournament soon where some people are involved, which may or may not be Freedo and me as well. So if I get to play him, he can eat his shit talk and get
there
good
it is.
himself.
But it seems also that Freedo can give as good as he gets. Ashton Akai, Eric saying sort of jovially he's going for the powerful 1-11, looking to finish bottom. Freedo agreeing with him, saying you're almost there and you have your bad mega for company. Eric has used Mega Rodino fairly well, and he just told Freedo to Volt Turn out of here. Big Volt Turn user there, Freedo. Unfortunately, these two do not face off against each other in the regular season. So we'll have to see if Ashton can go against that 1-11 prediction, get himself into the playoffs, and possibly show Freedo exactly how good Mega Rodino can be.
Indeed. I mean, his Mega takes on Mega Manectric for days.
Yep.
So, you know, get good, Freedo.
Yeah, yeah. There it is. Get good once again. Schady responding to Freedo as he did to him. So yes, that is going to be it from this little smack talk segment, and indeed from this episode of the Union News. So thank you everybody for watching. We do hope that you have enjoyed. As always, this is entirely opinion based for us. These kind of things, what with our opinions on the games. Let us know what you think of the results, if you think they were fair, who you think played well and badly. And of course, we will be going more in depth on Thursday when we are back with the power rankings for this week. So yeah, as I say, that's going to be it from this video. Schady, any final words to add?
No, I hope you enjoyed. Hope we see you next time. And Freedo, get good.
There it is. A final warning to Freedo from my co-commentator here, Schady.
Now I'm the co-commentator. Hello.
Well, we're both co-commentators. we co-commentate, but you know, I'm the best around.
Of course,
things are going to keep me down. Copyright strike. Nice. But no, yeah, that's going to be it from us. So thank you once again for watching, and hopefully we will see you again on Thursday. Until then, take care, TBU fans.
Goodbye.